Good morning, Wallis, and welcome back to the Carb Paleo show.
Thank you so much, Alan. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate the invitation.
It's our pleasure. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Alan and Wallis. It's lovely to see you both. It's a wonderfully sunny day.
It is here. It's been really hot here, so we're hiding inside for another reason. So, yes, Wallis, thank you for coming back on our show to talk about COVID-19 experience. Could you remind us your background and, just general background?
Yes. We are I have my childhood friend is also the co-founder and me of Starseed, which is this brand built around sacha inchi, which is a seed from the Amazon rainforest. We pretty much found the seed several years ago in the middle of the jungle. We were working in a reforestation project out there, and just out in the boonies, part of the Peruvian Amazon rainforest that is very hard to get to. And I mean, we were just figuring out what was going on in the Amazon. I had never been there myself growing up. I'm from the coast of Lima in Peru. And I lived abroad for several years. And then when I came back, I came upon the opportunity of working in a reforestation project, and that took me to the Amazon. And that's where this whole journey started for us. We felt obsessed. We became obsessed with the Amazon and its power and its resources. And since then, I've been working really hard to protect it and create change. A lot of things that we don't like are happening over there. But in one of these, treks that we were doing to get from one place to the other out in the jungle, we found this beautiful star-shaped pot fruit, lush green, and it just called our attention. And we had been battling with reforestation because a lot of people around us, we figured, could not wait for 12, 15 years for a tree to grow to make an income. A lot of local communities there are just living on a day-to-day basis, and we're looking around. So we also planted cacao trees and planted a few different things in the land that we purchased out there, and we were sort of like in this quest of figuring out what could be done over there that could be sustainable, that can create change, and trying different things. We stumbled upon sacha inchi, which means wild nut, even though it's really a seed. But I had never heard of it before, and none of the people that I know from Peru had ever heard of it before. Just a seed that has been consumed in small communities in the jungle for thousands of years. But like many other ingredients and superfoods that come from out here, especially from this eastern slope of the Andes that faces the Amazon, that have different altitudes and microclimates, and a lot of these superfoods and all the magics is there. And a lot of these ingredients had never really made it out to bigger markets, because aside from the local communities, because of the colonial history out here, and a lot of, when the Europeans came over here, a lot of the local customs and even the foods were suppressed. A lot of things were brought over to Peru for, I don't know, like the grape and just different things were brought from Europe. And a lot of these ingredients became sort of like secrets, and that's how they remain for a long time. I mean, Peru's had its share of problems throughout time. The project that we are in right now would not be possible 30 years ago. We had terrorism. It wasn't the easiest time, especially to be in the Amazon. Being from Lima, I would we traveled to Miami before we would go to the Amazon, even though it's not too far from here because it wasn't that safe, and a lot of problems. And we found in Sachainchi that there was a lot of opportunity, and so we created this brand Starseed, and we make different ingredients out of it, seeds and protein powder and oils and meat analogs too, and just like different things out of it. And we sell nowadays our ingredients. Starseed Sachainchi is one. We also make a few different other ingredients like maca and camu camu, and just different superfoods that we find out here. And we work directly with farmers, small communities that we help organize. We have our own processing facility out here, and we sell our products to over 24, 25 countries or so. And we've set up shop in the U.S. We have a company that we've opened up, in the U.S. in California and L.A. I spent some time myself studying over there and lived there for a while, and we sell to different markets, but we want to make sure that we do it with our own message, with our own brand, and so that's why we set up shop in California. So we're in this project all the way. So it's been very exciting, but we've seen that a lot of the challenges of creating a chain of value around something that is, even though it's been consumed for thousands of years, the challenges of building a chain of value around it, of creating markets and getting people to know about it, and overcome restrictions, government restrictions all around the world for these type of ingredients. So it's been an exciting journey so far.
Have you seen people being receptive to this new product? Is it selling well?
It is, yes. I mean, we've become sort of like ambassadors to it. We travel the world with my little backpack, going around showing this to different people in different places, and we've seen a lot of interest, and the product is selling well. It depends on the country, how they consume it, and Asia is really big for us right now. They've been introducing it. Different countries in Asia have been introducing it in different ways. In Korea, it's been more the seeds. Mm-hmm. In China, lately, it's been more the oil. But I mean, it's just an amazing superfood. It has nutrition all around. It's very high in clean plant-based omega-3, which is something to say already. I mean, Peru produces a lot of omega-3 from the Humboldt Current that runs along our coast. I think around 60 or 70% of the omega-3 produced in the world comes from this part of the world, and there's problems associated with a lot of this depleting of the ocean, and it's a tough ingredient because it's not easy to eat as a fish-based source of omega-3. The taste is very strong. However, Starseed is very mild. It's very easy to use. It's loaded in omega-3. It's also, that complements very well with the amount of antioxidants that it has. It's super high in antioxidants. Mm-hmm. So those antioxidants help the omega-3 stay together and not break apart, which is also a challenge in that with omega-3. I mean, it's an essential fatty acid. Our bodies don't produce it. We have to add it to our diet, but it's not easy. There's not that many ingredients that have it, and sometimes they're very unstable. So they break apart and they go rancid.
Are you having difficulties keeping up with the demand on the production side? Here, I understand it's pretty labor intensive to, take the seeds out and all that.
It is labor intensive, which in a way is very good. So I mean, it's been growing. We've been very, very busy, and the nice thing about the plant is that it produces seeds very quickly compared to other crops. And from when you plant it, when you harvest, it's only like 7-8 months. So even though we've been, you know, really busy and trying to keep up with the demand, we've also, because we are, you know, vertically integrated and we work directly with farmers, we've been very busy also on the field side and in the jungle, and communicating with farmers and getting them involved in our network of farms. So in a way, even though it's challenging sometimes, we also work really hard to make it a stable growth.
Right.
Stability in the chain of value is critical for the well-being of the farmers.
Right.
It's all around agriculture. When there's when there's a certain amount of demand and there's, you know, a bigger supply, you know, prices fall, and it's something that agriculture falls prey to very, very often. And in Peru is an interesting case. You know, you have 84 climates of 120 or so that exist in the planet. Many geological floors and life zones, and you know, it's not one big flatland at all.
Right.
It's you know, microclimates and pockets of places that grow these different types of foods, and in that sense, you know, the typical way that the food business and the agricultural business works is challenging here, and it's not the most efficient use of resources and the best way to keep farmers happy and improving their lives. It's so
right. I'm curious, how many families are you supporting at this point? Farmers.
It's hard to keep up, but you know, at certain points in time, we're probably working with about 1,000 farms, 1,000 families or so,
Nice.
distributed throughout in different places.
Nice. Let's go back to our COVID-19 subject. So what has been your experience so far, and is there still confinement in Peru?
Yes. I mean, right before the pandemic hit around this part of the world, I was in California, and but my family lives in Peru, so I had to, you know, catch a flight and get back here before borders became more complicated to go through. But it's been quite an experience. I mean, particularly personally, at least I had been spending a lot of time around the world, just like traveling and pretty much every month being somewhere different. And you know, now it's the opposite. Now I'm spending. I mean, even though we move around, and luckily our business as a food business was never. We were allowed to operate all the time, except for the first few days that everything was very confusing. Luckily, we've been able to operate and keep the factory running, and the ports were still open. So we've been able to operate, but it's been challenging. Nonetheless, I think it's the opportunity of a lifetime, really, for. Personally, at least, I had been, you know, running around in a race just to get things done and move. You know, it's just a particularly good opportunity to just be around the house and, you know, get to spend time with family. You know, my kids are, you know, young, and it's just it's become a blessing, to be honest, for us as a family, and even personally, the company, the team, it's been challenging because we had our office and now all of us are working remotely, not on the factory side, but on the office level. And, we had to transition to remote meetings and all that. But I think in general, even the team is getting to spend quality time there. Lima is a big city and, spend a lot of time in traffic, of course, too. But in these months, I've found the time to build a nice little schedule around myself, and that's been like the cornerstone of my happiness.
Right.
Just to build good routines and finding time. Time has become gold. I mean, if it wasn't gold before, it's definitely gold now. It's even if I'm just going to sit down to read, it's a time that I make for myself, and I plan my day around these activities that I like to do, and just staying physically active and just biohacking my life through happiness and COVID, and it's been working actually very well.
Okay. So how do you protect yourself or your immune system from COVID-19? What are your tricks? Are you using special?
Something I do very often is I go in the ocean. I think that's like I find it amazingly powerful. I was there yesterday, and I try to go, every couple of days and have a dip in the ocean. I'm very close, a couple blocks from there, so that's been very good. I feel powerful after a dip in the ocean. I also, have I've been in this industry for a few years now, and food has become such an important part of my life. I eat what I consider to be healthy, and I try to stay on the whole foods whole food side of things, and nutrient dense. I mean, I've been following a certain criteria for what I think is good for me. And it's been working out. I mean, I don't know if a lot of it is just the actual nutrition that I put in my body, but I feel pretty strong. There might be a little bit of placebo in there too, but that's okay. As long as we've been staying powerful. I've been actively exercising, and that's also part of I think it's very important to stay physically active. I've been
So what kind of exercise, for example, do you do?
I mean, I nowadays with COVID, I've figured out something that I had never done before, that I can do, that I can stay active in one same spot in my room. I would go out for run. I would go out to run for hours, or try to do something far away. But now I have this routine in my own room that I push-ups and pull-ups, and I do stretch. I do at least an hour and a half of just different things in my own room. I go surfing as well out here by the beach, and that's been keeping me active. Running the house, I've been spending a lot of time in the house and cleaning up and doing the yard. I'm staying pretty active.
Yeah, good. How do you deal with mental and emotional challenges? I understand as a businessman, you're very busy, but has the confinement affected you emotionally or mentally?
I mean, I'm sure, definitely. It has. It's been such confusing times, right? And a lot of it is creating anxiety in me and my family and people around me, and it's a challenge. I think it's very important to be organized, and to, at least it works for me, to create a routine and give some sense of create some sense of normalcy to all this chaos. And that, like I was saying, routine and certain biohacks that I apply in my life have been super important for me to stay sane. As far as the family goes, we go in the car and we go to the beach every once in a while. We try, stay, keep our distance with other people, but as a family, we go to the beach and we do certain outings. And however, it's challenging with the kids being on virtual school and not seeing their friends. I think it's important that in general, we take this as an opportunity. And I think that's where a lot of the hope comes into play positively. This is a great opportunity for us to focus on what's important in life and who's important and how to make something good out of changing, a life that continues changing all the time.
Right. Do you have any personal stories or related to COVID-19 that would help our listeners to cope, or maybe an idea on how to take care of yourself, and just a little something that advice maybe?
Well, I mean, I know that a lot of people, for example, struggle with staying healthy in these type of when these type of changes come around. And food, for example, can be something amazing to help cope with, or it can also be really hard to handle. I've been fasting for over 25 years or so. I eat once a day, and I've been doing it for a long time. And I see a lot of people and friends around me that are complaining a lot about how they being close to their kitchen all the time is hard, and how their how health isn't moving in the right direction because of that. But that's helped me a lot. I fast. I think fasting has helped me a lot to focus. I definitely recommend. And I've been doing it for a long time. And in the beginning, a lot of people just a lot of people told me that it wasn't good for me. And however, it was intuitively something that I just wanted to do, because I felt a lot more focused, and I enjoyed food more when I ate, when I was actually hungry. I've been doing it since I went to college, but nowadays it's turned out to be wonderful, because sitting down and eating as a family and eating something really delicious is even better, because we're hungry. And after having a very productive day, it's been great. Something also really important on my end, at least, to deal with this with the COVID situation, has been just organizing my time. It's also a mindset. I think I recently, I had my office only a couple blocks away from my house before COVID, and I thought that I couldn't work from home before, that I really had to go somewhere else. And I even set up, I mean, we have our offices also by our factory, but I set up a small little office very close by, and I just recently I shut it down, and I work from home now. And I think you know, it's been working really well for me, at least because, at least I know everyone's different, but on my end, it's been working out, and I attribute that to organizing my time wisely and to creating routines, and I think in my case it's been working particularly because of that, and that way also I get to you know, use time wisely, not spend time in traffic and you know, moving around here and there. And I think that can apply to many people, that, you know, changing that chip in their brain can bring about very many positive things.
Absolutely. And thank you for the advice on the fasting. Are you getting enough sleep? Do you find sleep being very important in your life?
Oh, super critical. I need to sleep a few hours at least, you know. I need at least, you know, six hours or 7, but I've been sleeping well. I am very, very sensitive to coffee, and I drink coffee.
Right.
And I've been, you know, I also like to add things to coffee to at least make it work for me. So I've been adding a lot of our oil, and our starseed oil, but also maca lately, just as an adaptogen, just to like balance out the effect that coffee has on me. But coffee was having for a while an effect on a negative effect on my sleep. But I think so. I've been learning to manage it a little bit better. But sleep is super critical, at least on my end. And I think food has a lot to do with it. Coffee is just one example, but I think food has it's very hard for me to quantify or assign a particular responsibility to a particular type of food. I mean, there's many variables, and I consume many different types of foods and resins. I've been lately adding extracts and resins from the Amazon into my diet, and cat's claw, and you know, maca and copaiba and things like that. And so it's very hard to assign a particular effect on everything, but I think in general, just it has a strong effect on life and definitely sleep.
Yeah, it sounds to me you're your own pharmacist. You do your own tweaking, and right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been playing around with. My kitchen has become a little bit of a lab as well. I've been doing my own kombucha and my own apple cider vinegar and things like that. There's a bunch of little flies around all the time, but you know, these little things, I think can go a long way. Just you know, taking cold showers and little things like that help.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm not a big fan of cold shower. I hate cold showers, but I understand some people like it, so that's okay. We also probably should remind people of the effect of eating fresh, whole foods, healthy food, and not fall into the eating, you know, processed food and garbage and takeout, too many takeouts. It's also good for some people to go back in the kitchen and start cooking real food, right?
Absolutely agree. Yeah, I mean, playing around in the kitchen really opens the door to so many opportunities on figuring out what's good for you and what's not good for you. But I mean, I understand now that you know, spending a lot of time around the house. I understand everyone's challenges, and you know, time is super important for people, and convenience sometimes might not meet health when it comes to food or nutrition, and it's a challenge. I mean, I completely understand as particularly last few months why we've struggled to find out what's good and not, and how to balance out a healthy life and having a healthy family. I think like what you say, going to the kitchen is super, super important. You get to figure out, what's good for you. And a lot of times we just couldn't hang out in the kitchen because we were stuck in, 405 in LA traffic or wherever you are in the world. And, it's just this has become an opportunity of finding the kitchen and finding food. And I think that's very, very powerful. I'm not saying everyone, has the opportunity to be cooking a meal every day, but but I think there's ways around it, and just the fact that people can learn more about food and nutrition is very powerful.
I understand your culture is very focused on fresh food. Is it still easy to find fresh foods locally in markets and so on?
Yeah, it is. It is. There's the movement also for convenience around here as well, but it's still pretty easy. A lot of small businesses, especially nowadays, showing up online for same day delivery on organic veggies and fruits. And it's particularly sad, however, how seafood. I'm only a couple blocks away from the ocean, but seafood is one that Peru has one of the best seafoods in the world, and it's very rich ocean. Yeah. But it's become, seafood has become very expensive, and I've seen a lot of problems with pollution and overfishing. So that's a challenging one. Peru's still not, like I was saying, it's not big one flat land, but many small pockets of land. So most of it still nowadays is not mono crop. It's not mono agriculture. But at the same time, it means it's not that cheap. You can find the cheaper food out there, and it's usually pesticide laced, and there's problems with that. But it's still very, very easy to find organic food. I mean, Peru in general has a culture of small farms, and there's a moratorium also for non-GMO. So it was renewed a couple of years ago. The first time it was 10 years. I think in general it's a great study case because it challenges. I mean, it's a country that is very biodiverse, but it challenges a lot of the systems in place on food and agriculture, and nonetheless, it's sort of like a genetic biobank of sorts. We have over 4,000 types of potatoes or so. Wow. We don't even know how many types. Even like starseed sachainchi has several ecotypes of it. Corns. There's many types and colors and sizes, and purple, red, yellow, and I think that's that coped with knowing where food comes from, and that's exactly where our company has been challenging and helping shift paradigms, and working directly with farmers and trying to eliminate unnecessary middlemen that can speculate with food, and learning how food can affect not only your own well-being, but the well-being of people that all around the chain of value is something that will in our eyes that is necessary and that will happen. And in that sense, we've been working really hard, and it's challenging. I mean, just to give you an example, just with COVID, we make a big effort to be present and with our farmers all the time, and with confusion around COVID for a while, roads to small communities were shut, and they didn't want any outside influence, and it's been as the virus has spread not only in the city but smaller cities around, and then communities around. These are places that have very precarious health system, and you have to walk for many hours, and sometimes there's no access to doctors, and that's been a challenge for us, just to stay close to our farmers and allow the chain of value to flow. But in general, this is just a particular case, but this has been the experience in our 10 years. So I think it's a very good case study, because it challenges many preconceptions and many of the standards set up in the current food system. But I think it's the direction to go, and we're certainly committed to this project, because it brings a lot. Beyond the impact of starseed sachainchi, the impact that this particular superfood it can create. I think it can create a framework of reference, and it can. Not only sachainchi. There's a few different businesses that have been working really hard with superfoods around here, with maca and camu camu and golden berries, and even quinoa. When I was growing up, I'm from the coast, and my family never ate quinoa. We thought it was chicken food or chicken feed, But a lot of these foods are finding a space in today's markets, and they each and every one of them has a story of a lot of hard work, and pretty much going against the current and battling, and it's I think in the case of Peru, it's particularly interesting because it helps save what is Peru is a very biodiverse country, and that's where I think it finds a mechanism of defense in its own biodiversity.
Yes.
But we're battling many enemies. We're deforestation and unorganized cattle grazing. Cocaine is also one that we have to battle with in the Amazon. So there's many forces against us, but it creates a path to positive change.
Okay, well, I'm done with my questions. Mark?
Super job. Wallis, you've given us a huge amount of information. Thank you for that. But I'd like to take you back to where we started, really, which is, the starseed. I'm guessing a lot of people don't know what they are. Now, I noticed you had, just behind you, you've got a packet. Can you sort of hold it up so people can see what they are?
Yes, thank you, Mark. So we make four different lines of products as of yet with starseed. This is one. This is the snacks, the seeds. This is sea salted. Let me get it in the camera here. This is sea salted starseed, and that's all it is. It's just a seed, sea salted. I like to make a little chart in the back because you know the macronutrients on it, the macronutrition is very easy and simple. Most of it is fats, healthy omega-3s. A lot of it is protein, complete protein. It has all essential amino acids. Particularly interesting that it has a certain amount of fiber, but it's net carb zero. So it's a very good snack, easy snack for anyone that's like on a low carb diet. And we also give them flavors. We make one that is caramelized, and we also chocolate coated. We have them in small packages as well, which we sell them in trays like this. So you just open the tray and you get a little pouch just on the go. We caramelize it, we chocolate coated. We also have one that's unsalted. We also, from the same seed, we grind the seed, and that's all we do. We grind it and we make this butter. Mm-hmm. It's just, that's all it is. It's just the seed ground up. It's like a seed butter. This is so it comes in a tray like this. You just open the tray and you get to these butter pouches. This is just the seed. This is just the seed ground up with sea salt. Yeah. This one is with Peruvian cacao, organic Peruvian cacao. So it's sort of like a good chocolate seed butter. Mm-hmm. Same thing, you know, this one just sea salt is net carb zero, but it's really delicious. It's like a nut butter, but way better. Every pouch has, 7 grams of omega-3. That's that's like several servings of fish. Has complete protein. It's very clean. It's organic. From the same seed, we make a protein shake. Mm-hmm. That's all this one is. Just one ingredient, starseed powder. It's the seed is naturally high in protein. So this is 60% protein. So in one serving of this, you're going to get 18 grams of protein. We have different flavors out of it. One that I like a lot, that we consume a lot in the house, is this one, which is the power shake. It's basically starseed protein, and then we add just different superfoods from the Amazon, like maca and camu camu and yacon, and it's delicious, very clean, and it's organic as well. And we do the starseed oil as well. So it's just a very clean, cold-pressed oil. Most of it is omega-3 and antioxidants, shelf-stable, very easy to use. You don't even have to refrigerate it. We add it into salads and, just pretty much shakes. It's our staple oil around the house, but it's very clean, very mild, very easy to use. So that's pretty much what we're offering right now. And we're coming up with a few different things. We have a few new SKUs that we're working on. We eat a lot of like a meat substitute around here from starseed, and we're working a little bit on that. A few different flavors on the snacks. So exciting things coming up.
Excellent. Now, obviously, starseed, I would think, is quite something you eat a lot. Would that be true?
Yes, absolutely. We eat a lot, not only myself, my whole family eats a lot of starseed around here. We add it everywhere. It's, a lot of the business that we do in the company is, especially pre-pandemic times, was, face-to-face meetings and us going to faraway places to have people learn about this. And, there's nothing easier to sell than what you really believe in. And, we consume a lot of it in the house. And like I was, telling you before, we think food is very important. And we found we found Starseed very, very convenient. I mean, added into shakes for my kids in the morning. We make it a point to make our meals nutrient dense, especially during the week. And this is just a perfect way of doing it. It's a very powerful superfood. It has, protein. Complete protein is key, and healthy fats, omega-3 being particularly important. And like I was saying, we're like right on the beach, but a lot of these sources of omega-3 we don't trust too much, so we consume a lot of our omega-3 through our starseed oil and seeds and butter. It's just we've become like avid consumers of our own product. So I think it's very easy for us to recommend it.
But the reason I went down that sort of path of questioning was very simple. If, and it's quite likely, more when than if, we're faced with a second wave of something like COVID-19, how important nutritionally do you think Starseed could be in order to make you and anyone else who eats it more robust?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, I think it's important. Nutrition in general is a complicated subject, right? But I think a lot of many can agree that it's a synergy. It's a confluence of nutrients that creates good nutrition, and in that sense, refinement and ingredients that are highly isolated. A lot of the food that we see today is usually whole foods that are de-aggregated into parts, and then you just eat one part of that food. And I think that's not where we we'll find best nutrition. I think whole food nutrition is going to be critical for the years and decades ahead of us. And that's where I think these so-called superfoods in a sense are it's a fancy word, but I think it comes to terms with finding nutrient dense foods that have a lot in them. And Starseed comes right along those lines. It's like I said, healthy fats, healthy protein. It's a way of finding a complete nutrition. And a lot of the supplements and a lot of the way that people are approaching or seeking health sometimes might not find the best results because it's an isolated effort. You're even looking into one aspect of it, when a lot of the times it might be a combination of vitamins and minerals and protein and fats that come together to create this particular effect. So I think a lot of it should go that direction, finding proper nutrition in whole foods and in leaving a little bit behind the idea of one particular element being the solution to everything, right?
Yeah. But obviously for you, Starseed is quite a sort of up high on the list of things you're going to be eating to keep your immune system robust and in tip-top condition. So if I want some, where can I get it?
Well, in the US right now, we're only on Amazon.com. You get it in anywhere around the US through Amazon.com. We're soon to launch our web store. So you'll also find it, hopefully in the next couple of months, we'll launch on our website. So that's another way you'll be able to find it in the US. Otherwise, it depends what country you're in. We have a few different representatives that are carrying our brand. Asia, like I was saying, is particularly is growing particularly well for us, especially, you know, I think it from early on in the with the pandemic, it seemed like they were, you know, it's you know, depends on the country, but in general, I perceived a quick turn towards superfoods and nutrient-dense foods. And you know, very early on in the pandemic, we started we started seeing, you know, a growth in business over there. But you know, we're working really hard to make it available worldwide. It's a lot of work, but the US has been a particularly important target for us. We both, my business partner Juan Manuel and I spent over 10 years over there, and that's where we set up shop, just to make it happen with our own voice and be able to channel that message with our own brand and our story. And it's that's where we're going to focus a lot of our efforts, but we're working hard to make it available worldwide.
Excellent. That's good news indeed. Now, if I want to find out more about it, where would I go? Where's your website?
Our website is www.iamstarseed.com. Mm-hmm. And we have our, you know, we're soon to relaunch the site. You can also find a little bit of what's happening through our Instagram. You know, we try to tell what's going on in the Amazon with our communities and what's coming up next, and what stores we're. There's a few stores now in LA that are also carrying our brand. We've been trying to focus a little bit more on the direct-to-consumer channels, especially with these changes lately. But there's a few stores carrying the brand also in LA. But you can also find us on Instagram, handle I am Starseed. So we're trying to stay active on telling our story, and you know, we make different ingredients which we also sell to to industry, to, like, you know, cosmetics and, you know, food industries in different places. So it's been a transition also to go to the consumer directly. A lot of it, you know, we started originally more on the B2B side of things, and, you know, getting to industry. But nowadays, with the aim of getting our message out and you know, with our getting the consumer to know, you know, the whole story behind what we're doing, and the tremendous impact that it has on the whole chain of value, and how this can guide us to many changes. You know, our brand has become super important for us. So hope we're heading that direction and be able to tell more and more of us through social media and our site. We have us on Amazon.com/Starseed. You can also find our store. So those are a few different channels you can find us at.
Excellent. But as far as you're concerned, Starseed is something that's going to be continuing in your diet, sort of through the first wave, second wave, the third wave, or however many waves the media wants us to have.
Absolutely, no question about it. I mean, I not only find its nutrition outstanding, very, very powerful. You know, we feel it in our food, but very easy to use. And I've been adding just a bunch of, you know, in general, my diet and my family's diet is we try to make it well balanced, and we drink kombucha and, you know, take resins and, you know, add these different things to our diet and adaptogens of sort. But we find it very easy to find complete nutrition in Starseed, and I think that's what's, you know, very, very powerful part of our message. And definitely see ourselves and just different markets and families and people opening up to our story and how easy and tasty it is. It's quite tasty. I mean, the butter is just delicious. I see a very good future for the brand.
Now, just a quick question: is the butter what you put in your coffee?
Right now, I have in my coffee. Well, it's Peruvian fair trade coffee for one, but we add. I mean, I try to balance out the coffee with starseed oil for the as a good channel of adding omega-3 into my diet, but also maca. Maca is a root that grows in the Andes. It grows over 4,000 meters high up in altitude. Nothing else grows out there but maca. It's a root, Andean root, but it's an adaptogen. So it's for a long time it was known here as an Andean Viagra, but I try to see it more as an energizing, adaptogenic root. And it helps balance out the coffee for me.
Excellent, good news indeed. On a sort of slightly more controversial note, possibly, what are your thoughts on the origin and the purpose of COVID-19? Have you bothered to sort of go down that train of thinking?
Wow, that's quite a massive conversation. But I mean, it's really an eye-opener how the world can change so quickly, and a lot of it based on information that is now at your fingertips, and whether it be good or bad or real or not information, it's just amazing how the world can react to it. And I've been before the pandemic times. I had been traveling a lot and just like being in different cultures in different countries and spending time here and there, and just despite the different ways of doing things in different parts of the world. I had always felt comfortable just adapting, and I think that's being challenged. I hope we don't go. I hope we take this as an opportunity and not so much as a challenge to good things. But it's particularly scary how things can change based on information that can be good or bad or true or not. And I hope this can be an opportunity to learn how to deal with these types of things. And particularly spending time in Asia, I saw a lot of people moving around in masks all the time, but I think a lot of it had to do more with respect to your neighbor than protecting yourself. To be honest, I am still confused about a lot of these matters, and I find it best to focus more on how to stay sane in my own being first. But I'm still a subject that's very confusing to me.
As you quite rightly say, a lot of madness around this COVID-19 thing. A lot of misinformation and all sorts. But anyway, that's probably something for a topic for another day, perhaps. But one last question before we do sort of disappear off of this type of subject. What about the vaccine? Is that sort of being promoted in Peru?
It is starting to be. I mean, there's a lot of talks around it. In the case of Peru, it's I'm all against big. Particularly in my case, I'm all against big governments and And it's a challenge to see how the government is getting bigger also around here. And, you know, a lot of it, you know, as the pandemic hit over here, government got stricter and shut down, you know, basically put everyone in quarantine. But nonetheless, 70%, 70 or plus percent of the economy here is informal. And people just couldn't wait in their homes. They had to go make a living, right? And I mean, the lockdown didn't work. I mean, they put, you know, the military out there, and, you know, you get fined, and nonetheless, everyone had to get out. And contagion rates have been, you know, Peru's one of the highest, I mean, one of the hardest hit countries in the region. A lot of, you know, the health system has collapsed, and you know, it goes to show that you know, a lot of it, sometimes a lot of the problem is in the government itself. You know, if there hadn't been a strict quarantine, perhaps people would have not flocked to the markets before, you know, before I think it was 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. early on, where you just couldn't get out to the streets. So everyone, of course, flocked to the streets earlier in the day, and that created more chaos and that more confusion. And so it's been hard to see how many people have lost their economy and their businesses. And Peru has been very, very hardly hit by this situation, and it's still going on. And to be honest, I don't think the solution is in the government. I think it has to do a lot with you know, food is definitely going to be a huge part of it, but it's just you know, staying healthy is most likely the best way to fight something like this. I see that people are seeing that, and not so much in a lot of these recommendations and, you know, and measures that governments were taking. I mean, governments are nothing more than us appointing people to run certain things, right? But but you know, sadly, there's a disconnect, and we are, and we you know, we're a business, and we work really hard to create change. And I think a lot of the efforts should go into supporting business and not shutting them down.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will.
We'd all agree with you then.
Yep.
Super job. Now, can you just remind me of your website again, please?
Yes, it's www.imstarseed.com.
Excellent. And we can find all about Starseed, and I guess part of you know, your personal journey from sort of the beginnings of when you found it and so
on. A little bit, yes. We're putting a little bit more of our resources into telling our story. We're launching the new site very shortly, but and particularly so that we can be telling more real time what's going on. But yeah, you can find a certain amount of information on our site, and hopefully more coming up.
Super job. Excellent. Alan, back to you.
All right. Did you want to add anything else? Any wisdom from Peru?
Well, I encourage everyone definitely to find opportunities during these COVID times, seeing it as an opportunity. I think that makes a whole difference, and that leads me to learning more about how food works, how food works for oneself. Camera. I think learning about food and how it affects everyone and everyone differently, I'm sure. That is also such a rich journey. And along those lines, I invite everyone to try Starseed. I think you'll find something very unique, very interesting, powerful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Wallis, for being on the Low Carb Paleo show. And as we say in Texas, à votre santé, yo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.